Aaron Layman Properties here with a brief update on the new home market. It appears the new home sales crash of 2022 has finally arrived. The Census Bureau reported new home sales for June at a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 590,000 units. This was below expectations. The 3 previous months were also revised lower. New home sales in June were 8.1% lower than May and 17.4% lower than the same time last year. The median price of a new home dropped to $402,400. The average sales price posted at $456,800. Those are the lowest prices for 2022. Average new home prices basically crashed 19.8%, or $112,500 from the April blow-off top this year, according to the census figures. The unfortunate truth for the home building industry is that far fewer people can afford a $500,000 new home with mortgage rates above 5%. When rates hit 5% this year, that was akin to pressing your foot on the brakes. When rates hit 6%, that was more like slamming your foot on the brakes in terms of the housing market. Buyer sentiment has taken a nosedive now that affordability of homes has been crushed. Home builders were some of the first to experience a slowdown because they ramped up prices to the moon during the pandemic. The latest earnings reports from major builders pretty much say it all. The country's largest home builder, D.R. Horton, saw a 7% decline in Q3 sales orders. Horton's cancellation rate jumped to 24%. Pulte Group also experienced a sharp slowdown, with net orders dropping 23% for the quarter ending in June. Pulte Group's cancellation rate more than doubled to 15%. Tri-Pointe Homes was also hit by the pullback in new home demand. New home orders fell 16% for the quarter ending in June, according to TRI Point numbers. Their cancellation rate jumped 16%, which is more than double from the 7% last year. The number of housing units under construction is at an all-time high. The latest reports from the Census Bureau pegs the number of new homes under construction at a record 6.22 months of supply. That breaks the previous record set back in 1980. Total supply for sale at the end of the period in June jumped to 9.4 months. This is worth mentioning because there are still industry charlatans talking about a shortage of homes being built in the United States. Builders are now being forced to ratchet down their pandemic-inflated pricing to bring affordability back into line with the market. As new construction inventory continues to normalize, it should not be surprising to see lower new home prices in the months ahead. The liquidity tide is rolling out and the housing market correction is underway, regardless of whether the experts acknowledge it or not. New home builders across the DFW area are now offering generous closing costs or financing incentives, in addition to commission bonuses for selling agents. That's a stark reversal from just 12 months ago, when builders were pretending agents didn't exist because they had customers lining up at the door. When the incentives fail to move the required amount of overpriced inventory in the builders' backlogs, the price cutting will likely pick up steam. Many of the Fed apologists and industry experts are finally realizing there's plenty of inventory waiting in the wings. The fake housing shortage story has now been exposed as a glorious lie with the June data. In terms of the new home market, much of this inventory wasn't visible to the public databases because it hadn't been listed for sale in the MLS. Guess what's happening now? That huge pipeline of under construction inventory is finally coming back to the multiple listing services across the country. And it's showing up as available inventory because builders are being forced to actually sell it rather than just filling orders from waiting lists. It should be readily apparent now to all of the experts and Fed apologists that the pandemic housing bubble was just that. If you were in the market to buy a new home, your choices will be improving and prices should be coming back down. If you are considering purchasing a new home in North Texas, contact me for professional representation and tips on how to navigate this housing market correction. Thanks for tuning in.